Hi, friends. This is Caitlin. I am so happy to be here with you for Pink and Main. We are back to our normal schedule for now, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Here we are. And tonight we are going to be doing a little bit of a different technique using my Copic markers. You can use the same technique with other alcohol markers. If you've been here before, you know that I am not a confident watercolor artist. So I have found some tips and tricks to help me make my coloring, my marker coloring, look a little bit more of the like organic, slightly messy watercolor style. So this is definitely not like the end all be all how to for this technique. I just want to share with you guys some stuff I've picked up, things I've played around with, and what I have found looks pretty to me. So yeah, I just really wanted an excuse basically to color with the new Adore You floral stamp set because it's absolutely stunning. So I saw Lisa checking in, Gloria from Georgia, Annette from Montreal, Judith from South Carolina, Virginia from Virginia, Maria's here from New York. We've got Susan here, Barbara's checking in, Kim's checking in, Melissa's here. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. Karen's here. Love to see it. So yeah, let me go ahead and get this swapped over. There we go. All right, so I know what I didn't do. I forgot to put the link in the Facebook group. That's okay. I'll put it in and they can watch the replay. Anybody who doesn't catch us. So we have our Adore You Florals, which is this giant floral stamp set that we talked about in the sneak peeks last week. You get the I adore you and you are the greatest gift of my life and thank you, and then 2 butterfly options. And I have the coordinating dies because I think we're going to cut out the sentiment. We're not going to cut out the main floral, but you can see this paper is trimmed down to 4 by 5 1/4. And this stamp set basically touches all the sides. So it is a hefty floral. And we did talk about the other day too, that it would be really pretty to like half stamp or corner stamp or even like that so that it's like on the edge of your card. There's a lot of ways you could play around with this. So I love it. And I'm just dying to color it. So we're gonna play with that today. I do see Mary checking in, and Gloria said she's not great at watercolors either. I'm glad that I'm not alone. Barbara is asking about the planner conference I went to. It was amazing. It was way more, just like more than I thought it was going to be. It was like, I think like 1,900 people. I did get to meet Mommy Lay in person finally. She is so sweet. And the tables that she did with her and Pink and Main together were absolutely beautiful. The people that sat there to get that swag were very, very lucky. But yeah, it was really cool. We got to see a lot of different brands talk. We saw Martha Stewart talk. We saw V from Under the Desk News on TikTok. If you know who they are, they talked, and that was great. But it was very busy. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. So yeah, I want to go ahead and get a zoomed in. Oh, before we start, I just want to tell you, somebody was in the comments, I should have written down the name, asking about can you color on the foilable paper, right? The shiny white paper that the foilables are printed on. And you can, they just don't look normal, whatever that means to you. So I want to really quick put some color onto this one that we like kind of color pieced last week, just so we can compare it at the end with our coloring that's on like coloring paper, right? I use Copic Express It. You can use whatever speaks to you, but we can color these. It's better if you want just a single color, if you're fine with it being more of like a stained glass style, and just having a single color on there. I think the effect is nicer because the alcohol markers work when the paper soaks in the alcohol, which moves the ink around. And so it's actually within the paper that you get the blending, not on the surface. This paper is coated. It has that shiny coating on the paper itself. So the ink can't go anywhere. So it's never going to blend the way that it would on paper that's meant for coloring. So you can 100% color, and I still think it's pretty, especially for a smaller thing like this. It would be nice. On a bigger space, it's harder because you don't get any blend, and it can be a little streaky. So for something that's like this, it's smaller and each petal isn't like huge, I think it would work just fine. But just know, like at the end, I'll show you the difference of one to the other. So yeah, I don't want to start with green because that's like the fun part, is adding in all the little like messiness. Let's start with some of our inner florals. To do this watercolor effect, what I like to do is basically color in the opposite order than I normally color. So if you've hung out with me before, you will know that I like to color dark to light, right? I always start out with my darkest color. I work my way lighter, and that helps me blend everything out. So when I color watercolor style, hopefully, yeah, if someone's asking if there's weird feedback when I'm talking. If you guys are hearing like a weird echo or something, let me know. Lisa said crackling. That's weird. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. Oh, very bad. Okay, hold on. All right, I took out my headphones and I'm just using the phone speaker. You guys let me know if that fixed it. That's the only solution I can think of for right now. I know I'm on like a little bit of a lag. Better. Okay, perfect. I'll just try to talk up so that you guys can actually hear me from my phone. All right, good, good, good. Okay, I'll have to figure that out for Thursday. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll figure it out. All right, so what I was saying is I like to do the reverse order so that I don't have as much of a blend, because with watercolor, you don't get a ton of blend, right? Each layer still has a little bit of definition between it. So I'm going to start with my lightest shades, and we're going to work one flower at a time. And I'm going to kind of work in
well, I don't really mind if they don't blend, so we don't have to rush either. If it soaks in a little bit, that's okay. That's supposed to be green, not pink. So that was my RV 23. Then I'm going to jump up to RV 25, and I'm going to flick in a good bit of color from the center of those flowers. And as well as from where these petals, one's overlapping the other. Okay, then we're going to jump to RV 29. Again, just flicking that color in. So the same idea, the same kind of placement as normal. It's just that we're not getting that smooth blend yet because we want a little bit more definition. So lightest to darkest all the way around. This petal would actually be pretty dark because it tucks underneath. And then I like to go back in with my RV 23 and kind of wash over. So it's going to soften it a little. It's going to kind of dilute some of that color, but it's not going to give us a super smooth, seamless, perfect blend because that's not what we're going for. So it kind of just looks like little brush strokes here and there. You can always go back in and kind of fiddle. This is that middle shade. If you think your light shade kind of took too much out. I think I want to use the same ones, but I also grabbed a darker one too. So we'll swap in the darker and the lighter to keep our kind of blends going. Oh, cool. Dawn's washing while doing the dishes. That's what I love to do when I'm doing the dishes. I put on either lives or YouTube videos in general and just chill. That's my favorite. See, look, my natural instinct is to just outline with that, but that's not what we're doing. We're filling. Ooh, this marker needs a refill. I'm glad that the crazy sound stopped, but I hope this isn't like too far away. All right, so we're going to jump to the RV 29 again. Add more of that this time. Don't be afraid to manipulate your paper. If you need to spin it around, if you need to, it's way easier to spin your paper than to try to manipulate your hand. Especially for a card like this where we don't even know which way is up or down yet, right? We could do it this way. We could literally do it however, 360s. So then I'm going to go in with our RV 69, which is my new even darker color. Got my finger on that one. And then we can go back to the medium one because I kind of did more color than I expected to. And this is kind of just building up that a little more texture, but this isn't what is really going to sell the watercolor part. We just have to do this part first. We might have to add in some other colors. I don't know if this RV25 is going to make it. And I don't think I have a refill. That's okay. We can swap it out. Maybe we'll do like a little pink, orange, yellow. How about that? So we'll swap to oranges. Oh, Dawn said she's live suck to watch, sync to watch while doing dishes because you can't chat because your hands are dirty and in the water. I didn't think about that. See, do you see what I'm doing? I'm doing the opposite of what I said to do. I start talking and it's like automatic. All right, YR04. We're good. We didn't get too far. We're going to fill in this whole flower. And then let's go YR04 to YR68. Start pulling that color through. So yeah, had my trip. That was good, but it was a lot. And then in 2 weeks, in May, what is that, like 9th through the 11th, I will be in Ohio with Pink and Maine at the Simon Says Stamp Create event. And I met May from Altenew this past week, and they're going to be there too. So that's pretty cool to be able to like see people back to back in our industry. And they actually did like a card making like little workshop for the planner people. And it was amazing how many planner people there had never made a card before. I was shocked. I thought there was going to be a lot more overlap. Definitely people who stamp, but not as many people who make cards. I was just surprised. So I'm kind of just tapping that medium color back in. Again, I just don't want it to be smooth. That's not the look that I'm going for. Same with that light. I can kind of just stipple, tap in some of that color. And I think it's cool to have some that are a little more stripey, some that are a little more splotchy. Me too, Lisa. I'm so grateful that I found card making, especially at the time of my life that I did. You guys are a very supportive bunch. It was also funny because I work for a planner company and it was a planner conference, but like I use a planner for my content, both my personal and my professional content, but I don't use a daily planner. And so I really was expecting to get there and it be like, here's how to use your planner, here's planning tips. And all of the speakers and content was more focused on like being yourself and like developing your personal brand, like card making, entrepreneurial stuff. Like nothing was about planners. which was just so funny to me. Kind of also very refreshing, right? Because like I'm not the definition of like what you would expect of like a planner girl. And sometimes I feel like when I'm talking with people that are so into planners, I feel like a imposter. So it was really nice to go there and hear so many topics about other stuff. I also have to figure out what we're going to do in the middle of all these. I didn't think that far yet. Virginia said her planner is a calendar on her phone. I definitely understand. No one else understands crafty people in the obsession. But that's the thing. I feel like the planner people who like aren't crafters, there was a lot of overlap, like a lot of sticker makers, a lot of illustrators. But even though like they get the obsession because they have it too, just for like a different, like they veered off the road before us. You know what I mean? Like we're headed in the same general direction. So it's kind of cool. I'm keeping all of these markers, by the way, to the side because we're going to need them when we start adding in our like actual watercolor splotchy effects. Oh, good night, Mary. I hope you have a good night. Lisa, I'm so glad that you found me too. Y19, Y15, Y13. Sure. So we'll, nope. Every time, man, it's got to be a conscious thought. Y13. Y15. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Yeah, I think these are really fun, like summery, happy colors. I mean, they can be springy too, I guess. I think it's the like the deeper orange and deeper pink that gives me more summer, like tropical vibes. But obviously you could do this in whatever color scheme fits the occasion. Right, you could do more like soft pastels, something a little more gentle for if you were going to do this for like a condolence card. All right, we need one more. Yeah, maybe we'll go with the like Y30s. Just for a little shift. Y38. Nope. Y32. Kind of rushing through this part a little bit too, because I'm really excited for getting to the like main fun part. But also, I think it just adds to that like watercolor messy feel. So it's fine. Oh, thank you, Melissa and Virginia. It does kind of feel like just like crafty hangout night, right? I know we've talked about before so many of us don't have crafty friends that we see in real life. And so I love having our live nights to kind of have everyone together and we can kind of catch up. I feel like at this point we're all starting to kind of get to know each other. I still don't know what to do with those centers. I guess I'm just going to do them like matching or like the darkest color because I really don't want I don't want like one color throughout. So that was wire 19 in the middle. Let's do YR, no, YR 68 for this one. They're not the focus anyway. RV 69. And RV 29. Okay. Bling them. Karen, don't threaten me with a good time, girl. Okay, we're gonna do, we're gonna need at least 2 green combos. So I think all of these like longer, thinner leaves will be 1 green combo. And then the like striped shorter leaves are gonna be a second. So I definitely want to do YGs. YG 23. Let's get a full scrap of paper over here. That's YG 17. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, no. Perfect. You guys are so nice. None of Karen's friends craft me either. Gloria, I am very grateful for all the replay watchers. But I love that you were able to make it live because I think it is definitely more fun live. Yeah, Melissa, I can't imagine crafting like internet, like pre YouTube, pre Facebook. Hey, Misty. So yeah, let's do our brighter combo on these guys. And these are pretty small, so I'm not even super worried about them having any kind of like watercolor effect on their own. We're just going to kind of get them filled in, and I'm only doing 2 markers for each combo. We're going to keep these ones really simple. And the best part is, because of what we're going to come back and do in a minute, you don't have to be neat and tidy about this at all. I also know there are a lot of people who struggle with letting things kind of do whatever they want in watercolor. And so this is going to give us that kind of splotchy watercolor, like messier look. But in reality, you have complete control over where your splotches and splatters go, which could be beneficial to you or it could drive you nuts. But either way, I think it's something fun to try at least once and see what you think. Okay, so those are all our spiky guys. Hey, Julie. Welcome, welcome in. So now I'm switching to YG 63. One of my kids is out of bed. If you can hear that, normally you can't hear them because I have headphones in, but since I had to take them out.
I'm sorry.
Stop. Has to plug in her laptop for school. We'll just fill that in with YG 61. So 63 and 61. And now is when the fun begins. So what I like to do is go in with the darker of my combination and kind of right around where those are, I'm going to start kind of making little splotchy marks and like little tippy taps with my marker around where my stamped image is. And I'm kind of lining up my darker marker. Sorry, this is going to be like literally in front of my face. In the little like corner one, but I'm keeping my darker areas, my little splotches, where that darker ink is. So on this side where I put my lighter shade, I'm skipping that side. Okay, so this is just like really messy, just kind of, where's the scrap? Show it to you really up close. I'm literally just kind of tapping my marker like this on the side of the marker and then going back in and making little random little taps. That's all we're doing to start. Just like that. Yeah, just in time, Jeanette. And this is just, again, kind of the way I've tested it out and found that I like to do it. Other people might do it this way. They might not. You might think I'm absolutely nuts. I know my mom is always watching these lives, and this style is definitely not on her favorite list because it does end up a little bit messy, but I think it's really fun. So not for everybody, but so much of card making and art isn't. That's okay. To go out and take some extras because this is going to be the main feature of our whole card. You can really pull some of those little speckles out if you want. This can be as messy or as subtle as you want it to be. And what we're going to do is anywhere where a color meets the white on the outline, we're going to repeat this process. So like you could just stop there and kind of have like a very soft version, but we're just going to go for it because this just makes me so happy. So with the lighter one, I do like to go over the darker just a little bit, not to blend it out, but just to kind of fill in and add more color and kind of overlap where our lighter shade's going to go. And I like doing this with something like this where you have kind of this shape all the way around that you're using this for, this technique, because I think it looks really cool, kind of like flowing out from it. Yeah, it's almost like a little drop shadow, Lisa. That's, yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Like a little halo shadow. And like in here, we don't have to worry about filling because we can do some yellow and our brighter greens there as well. That's kind of a trickier part for me, is leaving that space as I'm going so that I have room for all of my other combinations. I just get stipple happy and I cover the whole thing. These guys. And it's not the fastest process in the world, but it doesn't take forever. And if you were doing real watercolor, you'd have to wait for each layer of colors to dry. So compared to that, I feel like this is still pretty quick. All right, let's jump to our brighter greens, and then we'll have fun with our real pop colors. Trying to keep these, that YG17 right in the middle parts. Let's do those three to start, and then we'll go in with our stipple hat bead. Sounds dangerous. Yeah, exactly. It lifts the flowers up off of the background. Yep. I do kind of see. I hadn't thought of it that way before, but I do kind of see how it does kind of create that fuzzy little drop shadow behind them to pop them up a little bit more. And I think it's super fun. And it's cool to kind of play in those areas where your different tones overlap. And it's cool to have some that are a little bit like lopsided. I also know that this kind of like chaos is not everyone's strong suit, but I do, like I said, encourage you to practice, test it out, see how wacky you can get. Just kind of imagine if you flicked a bunch of watercolor and things around, where they might go. And it isn't super accurate to that, right? Because if we did that in real life and we really stippled it and splattered it all over, all the colors would be everywhere. But that's kind of the part that I don't love about trying to create this kind of look with watercolor, is because it can turn into mud so fast. And you guys know I have a too much gene, so reeling it in with my watercolors is hard. But I can just stipple to my heart's content with my markers, and it's a good thing, not a bad thing. We'll do our last pass with our YG23. Oh yeah, I'm glad that a lot of people are saying this is like new. This look is new to them. That makes me happy. There's not much that I can tell you like I've figured out completely on my own. A lot of what I've learned is from watching other creators and other artists. And anytime I can, I do try to give them credit. But like I learned card making on YouTube, right? So like there's not a lot of brand new ideas out there at this point. We're just kind of reuse and tweak and kind of change things up for when we can as we go. But this is one that I kind of just tested out on my own and decided that I liked. So now we have the most fun part. We can go in, and anywhere there's little gaps, we can add in. There's not a ton, but there are some places we can add in some pops of color. With those pinks, I'm going to be really careful. It's probably fine that this marker is dry, because pink and green will make mud, right? Red and green are opposites on the color wheel. If they mix too much, they will make mud. So we just want to be mindful about where we're adding that color. And we can jump all the way up to our light pink on this side. And that just kind of starts filling in that space around. And that is why I left all of my markers out. It doesn't have to be an exact science with these, but it does help if you kind of at least use the same general colors. That was our and our brighter yellow. And I've done this before with florals where there's not so much greenery, like the greenery is more sparse, and then you get the really fun effects of going in with all of those colors. So you can kind of switch it up depending on what stamp set you're using and what those florals kind of look like. So I just love it so much. You can also go in with a white gel pen if you want. I like the bigger one. I like the 10. And you can like add some white spots to kind of break that up a little bit more too. Probably excessive. But I just think it's kind of cool to add more texture, right? Because watercolor paper would have so much texture. In real life, you would have all of these little dips and see if you can, right? So like right through here, you can see how that kind of just breaks up that color a little bit. So just something fun to try and have a little bit different. I do think for how much is colors down here, there's really not a lot of like the little spaced out ones up here. So I'm going to go in and add just a couple more little guys. Kind of pulling out up from the pack. Yep. And the pink. Yeah, so just a lot more texture in our floral. And those little splatters, stipples kind of around. And that is my coloring part done. So let's get this turned into a card. I'm I'm so glad you guys like it. I was a little nervous. You guys are gonna be like, what is she doing? So I'm gonna go with Pebble cardstock. We're going to trim this down to be regular standard A2, 5.5 by 4.25. We are going to glue this down. I think I got to get another glue. We're going to glue it flat because I want to die cut and pop up the sentiment. You guys know for shippability, I like to only do foam once, either for the base or the sentiment. I don't like to pop up more than one layer unless I know I'm hand delivering a card. Oh, hey. You guys can see I have like white gel pen dots all over my hands now. All right, and again, still, we have a lot of possibilities here. I am thinking that I'm probably going to do this bottom corner so that we're covering the least amount of our hard work as possible. Thank you, guys. Yeah, softer on the edges, Gloria. That's exactly how I feel about it. So I think we're going to do You're the Greatest Gift in My Life. And what I was thinking was, Pebble with white embossing. But maybe like white with platinum would be better. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do one of each really quick while we have everything out. Then we can just hold them up and see what we think. Yeah, I think that's big enough. Okay. Guess let's do this guy first. This is the same white cardstock I've been coloring on, just a little scrap from me trimming off my paper. I'm a stickler for my whites matching, if that's the route we're going to take. I just think the platinum would tie in better with the Pebble cardstock than trying to do like a brown, like a true brown or a black. But I could be wrong. We know it wouldn't be the first time. Prepped my paper with my Magic anti-static brush. You are the greatest gift in my life. Oh, printer paper, printer paper. Come on, man, I always have paper. Oof. I made a Taylor Swift friendship bracelet themed card for my channel video last week, and I used the platinum embossing powder for that, and it was beautiful. I absolutely love how that turned out. I did like the bead lettering on my friendship bracelet with it because my favorite like letter beads from like the craft store are always the gold, like white round beads with gold letters printed in. And so I thought that the platinum would be so good, and the platinum ring was perfect. Can you laminate with the mini make Yeah, Virginia, I would bet my mink that you could. I would say I would probably set it to the highest setting just to make sure that it really melted and sealed it. But I don't see why your mink wouldn't work to laminate your, like as a normal laminator, if you have a laminating sheet. All right. I am going to mute this time because I do already know that if I do this without headphones, you're going to go deaf. So I will be right back. I'm sorry, I didn't want to focus. I feel like you guys just got gypped out of that melting process. So we have our You Are the Greatest Gift of My Life. And we have the platinum version. So I'm just going to kind of hold it up. So You Are the Greatest Gift of My Life. Obviously, it's going to be cut down really tight too. I don't know. I think I have to die cut them both. Let me know if either of these is standing out to you guys. Do you like the craft backdrop or the white backdrop? You let me know what you guys think. If either of those is standing out to you as a front runner. Is that the right use of that term? Front runner. I don't know. Like the craft. They like the craft white. So far, we've only got one for white. Everyone else is saying craft. Let's see. I was originally leaning craft / pebble. Yeah, that gets a little lost. Let's see. We want it to look cohesive, but we don't want it to disappear. Right? That's the trick. Yeah, I think I'm leaning pebble. But you know that I'm saving this because that's still very pretty. It's just not right for this one, but it's beautiful. So let's put that die back on the card before I can lose it. This is going to be hard to foam tape. Why did I decide to do that? Guess it's not too late. We could just make a flat card for the first time ever. Hey, Darla. Go Wild was super fun, very crazy. Basically we were up from, we were there, right, from 7:15ish in the morning Texas time until like 3 in the afternoon, and then there were nighttime events from 7 to 10. So it was like a lot. It was a lot. Hey, Carrie. I'm glad that you got to stop in. That makes me so happy. Yeah, we tried playing around with a fun marker technique to get kind of that splotchy watercolor feeling for those of us who might not have time or inclination to watercolor. Let's bust out the Simon Says stamp. Little ruler. And this could definitely get some sequins. I was going to say I don't want to do it, but I do want to do it. You guys know I want to do it. So yeah, Darla, it was amazing. It was just a very long day. It was a very long weekend. I think I want to do clear. I think we do the clear so it doesn't cover up any of our hard work, but just adds like a little hint of shine. So we're going to do diamond confetti. Karen said, do it. Do it. I love that Karen is my glitter, my sequin sparkle enabler now. And I'm in charge of social media and marketing for the company I work for. So I like couldn't have taken a break if I wanted to, even because I was just trying to get all of the content I possibly could. And it was like such fun content to get that like in the moment, it was like an easy decision to like stay and hang out. Just want some more tiny little babies. I think that's good. Just a little wink of shine. Yes, clear like raindrops on petals, exactly. We don't want to distract from our hard work, but it is a nice little accent. And I'm purposefully not covering any of the black lines because I want these to hide more than they stand out. Like if you were looking at it flat, you might not even really realize they're there. But when you move it in the light, you're like, oh, okay. Oh, I love that so much. We'll do like a super close in so you guys can see that stippling. Remember that I added white down here, but nowhere else. So don't judge me on that part. But yeah, I just think this is such a fun and different way to try your coloring. I hope that you guys love it and you're feeling inspired. You guys know the drill. If you have any requests for Thursday that you would like to see, please leave me some comments, leave me some inspiration. We can do techniques, we can do occasions, colors, products, whatever you want. I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys for all of your support and your kindness. I will see you back here on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for our next Girl Crafty Hangout Heart to Heart session. All my little crafty besties now. And yeah, until next time, guys, happy crafting and have a good night.